Hello and welcome. It's Japan, and you know what time it is? It's Evolve. Now, actually getting on top of this video, getting it out on time is always a good thing. I don't know what it is. It's like I'll watch it, and then I just haven't had time to record much, and because it's such a time crunch one, it just ends up not being done in time. But luckily, this one is all good, and we could jump right into it. So we had the first match was Nikita Lyons versus Carmen Petrovic. Honestly, the way that Carmen Petrovic used to be in NXT, there was like this really great, like maybe 2 month span where like it seemed like they were gonna strap a rocket to, and she was gonna take off because her moveset is unique. Like it has, she has a good presentation, and it seemed like it was gonna be really good. But it just kind of felt like they nerfed her after that. She had a really bad storyline with that love triangle with Nikita Lyons. Actually, surprisingly, it's a callback to all that. But she then just kind of felt like she started getting all of her moves were slowed down. This is the first match where I feel like it's kind of the opposite. She's starting to get back to what she had, that little hype that she had around her. That crazy submission that she put on Nikita Lyons automatically has been breaking the internet because it's just the most wild submission that a lot of people have seen, and I kind of completely understand that. Continue to use that because I think depending on if you can do that to everybody, it's going to be great for her. And her finisher is a really cool kick. It's just like, I feel like she needs to still speed it up a little bit. It's gotten better than some of the other ones where it just seems like she's, like when you practice the moves, so you go in slow motion. It felt like that's just what she had been doing for the last, like, I don't know, year. But that one felt a little bit more fast. Overall, I thought the match was pretty good. Nikita Lyons has been, pretty solid. Just kind of one of those people you can put out there. She's going to have a good match with anybody. I do kind of feel like she was being built up as the number one contender, and I know she kind of lost by interference because Sloane Jacobs came down. She got, put away, with Lady Luck. Obviously, then Wendy Chu tripped up Nikita Lyons to cost her. I do believe that was kind of the good storyline. It did protect Lyons enough, but like kind of still hope she had pulled off that win, or at least like they been a DQ on this one, because I feel like both of them could have really used a little bit extra. I mean, luckily it's not too bad, but overall, I think the match I'd probably put in a solid B. I feel like this match, if I would have saw on the card like a year ago or even like 6 months ago, I probably would have groaned at being like, "Ugh, this is going to be very slow and not look great." But I think both of them have just improved tremendously over the 6 months. In Carmen's case, I just think she's gotten back to where she was starting to be at. So, yeah, good signs there. Good propelled a lot of the storylines in the women's division, so I think everything was good. Then we have like what looks to be a mini feud brewing with Braxton Cole and Harlem Lewis. We saw another one of our security. I do like that they have the security on it. It is a funny little extra part to it of like using more people, because that's the thing with Evolve. They just really need to use as many bodies as humanly possible, and they get better with it every single episode. It feels like they get 3 or 4 more characters just thrown in there with something to do, and we get to see them, because that's the thing. Like, the minute they go off 4 or 5 episodes, they kind of become stale unless there's somebody super big. Like Cappuccino Jones, I think it's kind of similar to that. But like, there's just a lot of people, they just disappear, and by the time they come back, you kind of lost a lot of invested interest in it. But I'm cool with this feud. I mean, it's like two heels going at it. They could also very well turn Harlem Lewis into a face through this storyline too. They needed another face in the division, which I feel like the men are kind of 50-50. I think that there is a lot of heels, but there's a lot of faces that can do stuff, so it does help a lot. But they always kind of go 50-50 of like always seeming to be like they're trying to set up a bunch of the heels to go after Aaron Rourke, which they could do whatever when they have like a like the final, like the main event thing. But we'll talk about that when it gets there. But yeah, this mini feud I'll put up in B. I think it's solid. I'm not opposed to it. I don't think like the matches are gonna be anything too crazy, and the mic and stuff is just gonna be more practice for both of them. Then we get a backstage segment with 3 of the newer women in the women's division, with Anya Rune. What is it? Kapara? I always forget how her last name is. Just kind of like Anya being kind of picked on for being weak and needing to prove herself. I honestly like Anya a lot. I liked her on the independent circuit as what is it, Erica Dream. I really do think like she kind of got that bad rap with those really bad promo in the beginning. I think it's still salvageable. She's got a great look to her, and she's great in the ring. So like, it's perfect combination to like work. And the character, love it or hate it, you're gonna remember it. And I think that's the kind of keys that she's working with Hal's money. If she can really get it, through, she will be wanting to take on Layla Diggs, which is kind of an interesting one because I think that match could absolutely cook if done right. And I don't think that's for next week's show. It's probably a 2 week thing. That is the one thing I do feel like when they set up these storylines that are going to be a one-off match, those are the ones that should be next week. Anything else they can do is just that could be like in 2 weeks. I feel like sometimes, they do stuff like this and it kind of like kills the momentum by not putting it the very next week. I'll put this in A. I'm excited to see this. I think the match with Layla could be really good. Then we had Cappuccino Jones taking a call outside and somebody in the bush watching him. Kind of a weird angle. I mean, I really don't know what they're doing with that. Was it just like a candid thing, or was it like somebody's recording them? It's kind of hard to say because like NXT used to have like the person, the hacker or whatever that was like hiding and taking videos. What is it, NXT Anonymous and stuff that I think ended up being B Priestley. I can't remember that whole storyline. It was kind of ass. That's why I'm like, I don't know. So I guess I'll put it in B. I don't think it was anything too crazy. If this is the only way to get Cappuccino Jones on the show, I guess that's fine by me. Like I said, just getting them on the show, faces, names, all of that is always great. Then we had CJ Valor versus Itzgall. Another just solid match. Both of them just kind of more strength guys. I don't know what the hell CJ Valor was wearing, that leopard skin. I think it matches what the Mog Squad is, because like they're kind of like those douchey heels and stuff. Not necessarily cowardly, but like enough that like they got strength to back it up. They're willing to take a fight, but they're also willing to cheat. It's a little bit of everything there, and I think it kind of fits with that, but I do hate that outfit. I do really hate that outfit, but I mean, if that's your only gripe on the whole thing, I think that's not bad. Again, just a really solid match. I really feel like both of them, showed up and showed out. Itzgall is just kind of underrated with obviously his character, but I think his in-ring work is getting better and better to just be like, you're going to get a constant, decent match out of him, and it's good to have that on the roster. I do feel like with both of them, obviously you want to get that next step, but CJ Valor being in part of a group will definitely help him, and Itzgall kind of somewhat being a face to a certain extent by them getting attacked by that could very well position himself to be more likable and stuff, and I think obviously there's nothing wrong with that. So I'll put it in a solid B. I definitely think I like the Nikita Lyons Carmen Petrovich match better, but I still think they're on the same scale. Probably like a B plus to a B minus. Then we get our Fatal 4-Way in the main event. It was overall, I feel like it was a weird match just to say because of all the people that in the match that kind of felt like, yes, they're probably part of NXT now, but let's just run this so we could get another number one contender. They had Tristan Angles, what is it, Dorian? I always forget how to say his last name because it's a mouthful, honestly. Obviously, you had Brooks Jensen and God, why don't I remember the last person? But yeah, they definitely had one of those things with a Fatal 4-Way. I think in Evolve, I've noticed too, when they have either triple threat, Fatal 4-Way, they really just try to focus in on in-ring work, and then they have the other two just kind of chilling, doing stuff outside. I mean, obviously that kind of happens in a lot of it, but they really try not to crowd the ring too much. I do feel like Tristan Ingles was the right person to do here. We had little vignettes also throughout the show with each person talking. I just feel like he's nailed his character so perfectly, and his in-ring abilities, I think, are pretty solid. I think where he's at with everybody else, this is the perfect person to be like, yeah, he can do what he can do, and he's going to have a decent match every single time he goes out there because he's got the skills, his character works well with what those skills are. It's just like everything like that is just perfect for him, and Evolve is going to be a great spot. Honestly, I would say that like he should be in that title picture either way, like even if they didn't have this match. But I feel like they did it. It was solid. Again, the problem with this was just I feel like most the people are gonna be gone or just not, you know, on the show as much. Oh yeah, Cam Hendricks was on it. I forgot. I knew there was a big person because it was Cam Hendricks, and then Tate Wilder took him out, which will further their feud. But it just felt, like I said, with everybody kind of being gone, it's kind of like that. I put it in a solid B again. I feel like the triple threat obviously makes it a little bit more messy, but they gave him a lot of time to breathe. I think the whole show was a solid B plus. I really do think it was a pretty good episode, kind of a stepping stone episode to get us to some new stuff. I think we have the contract signing between Aaron Rourke and Tristan Eagles next week, and I don't think there was much else that they announced. I kind of remember them throwing up another match, but um, it was Starboy versus, was it? I don't know. It was against a heel. I don't remember who. It was one of the Mog Squad, if I'm not mistaken. I think they're kind of setting up, the Mog Squad being against a bunch of the baby faces, plus Skull, depending on if you view him as a face, at some point, which I don't think will be necessarily a bad thing. Big ass tag match always kind of works, for this type of stuff. But until next time, this has been Japan. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next episode. Bye, guys.